I accepted my family in that way, but that also gives an edge that I started seeing them as a like कि है, these are there as a matter of fact कि ये ऐसे ही है. And that helps you seeing them more as not as your parents or relatives or anything, but more as a characters. And you started seeing them as a part of somewhere your stories.
Yeah.
And or maybe now I think maybe it was a coping mechanism. If you're writing real films, dramatic films, which has a connection, you have to think everyone around you.
Right.
With less judgment and more understanding. You're sitting in a room and you just sat down and you see a person and you got an idea. From that point to 200 people and 25 crore rupees put it on it. So you feel at that particular moment the realization hit you. Feel thoda God complex aa sakta hai yahan par. You have started this and then so many people got into on board. Though the journey, I always say that the journey for a writer is the most difficult thing.
It all starts with an idea. An idea can turn into wonders, possibilities. But for that idea to translate into something real which is meaningful, that needs artistry. And the amount of hard work and discipline and behind the scenes that go for bringing an artistry out by an artist, that takes a lot. It needs motivation, it needs encouragement, it needs environment. Most importantly, it needs a safe space. Voice of Artist is just that. When Ranaksh and I first started talking about why to create Voice of Artist, we realized we want to do our part to create a safe space so that we play our role in nurturing the universal artistic energy. It starts with a conversation, that becomes a community, and the hope that people work together, collaborate together and grow together as artists unlock the artist within themselves. We have one such person with us today who has done his own part, starting with his own journey. At the age of 7, he realized he wants to be a writer, but he did not go blindly behind that path. He went through the expectations, he became a dentist, he became a doctor while figuring out how to be a screenwriter. Fast forward, he graduated from New York Film Academy and today we know him as the screenwriter of Dr. G. Saurabh Bharat, it's my pleasure to welcome to Voice of Artist. Saurabh, thank you for coming to Voice of Artist.
Thank you for inviting me.
How are you feeling?
I'm listening, I'm still stuck to your initial idea, like how idea takes a journey. And I think the journey of the idea and the journey of an artist is very similar.
Right.
In a way, and that's where my mind is still going through. Like it takes a lot to make an idea proper full-blown art, and that's how an artist also go through. And I always like discussing with one of my very close friend, and he said, so we were talking about a new writer, and he said to me, I think he needs to experience life a little more before becoming an artist. And I think that is what whoever is actually want to become an artist today are jumping the wagon too fast. And I always keep telling them that experience the life, then only you will become an artist.
That's so, and I'm glad that you resonated because I was trying to find what is the right angle to begin this conversation. And idea is where I got stuck because you are a writer, I have some writer genes in me and parts in me, and I realized that all of it starts with an idea. It would be one seed like 10 years ago.
True.
But the journey that idea takes, and during that journey, the journey which the artist takes to develop it, rarely do you see that.
Right. And I sometimes even think that sometimes an idea takes a journey of generations also.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, for example, if I talk about myself, in my family, if you ask na, Saurabh has become a writer, it's not that surprising. Because the whole, if you actually see, if I go back, mere Papa ke Nana ji was actually a writer.
Oh.
So his name is Ambika Prasad Devya. People can actually search his Wikipedia page. He's not that famous of a writer, but he was a writer who has written more than 10 books.
Wow.
And his one of the book was actually even Gandhi Parayan. He has written autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi in a poetic form.
Wow.
And that Gandhi Parayan is actually being Bundelkhand University में आज भी पढ़ाते हैं उसे.
Wow.
So
You had it in your genes.
कह सकते हैं, but then it skipped few generations and then I became but if you go back to my relatives, they all connect to that.
So they were not surprised when you...
हाँ, और but I see it's not actually skipped the generations. So फिर मेरी दादी, even though she was not that well literate, but अपने ज़माने के हिसाब से वो फिर भी 10th पास थी और उस टाइम पर लड़कियां 5वीं पास भी नहीं होती थी,
पढ़ाई ही नहीं होती थी.
और जो अंबिका प्रसाद दिव्य थे उनकी 4 बेटियां थी और उनकी दूसरे नंबर वाली जो बेटी थी वो मध्य प्रदेश की पहली ग्रेजुएट और लेडी थी.
Amazing.
तो एट दैट टाइम शी यूज्ड टू टीच.
Incredible.
हाँ, उनको शायद एक राष्ट्रपति पुरस्कार भी मिला था फॉर हिज सर्विसेज ऑन एज अ टीचर.
Right.
So that's the story. But then, so my dadi used to be a big fan of films. मेरे पापा बताते हैं उन्होंने मदर इंडिया मेरे पापा को गोद में लेकर के वो छपरी वाले थिएटर्स होते हैं ना उनमें छाता लगा के देखी थी क्योंकि बारिश हो रही थी.
Such passion.
तो मैंने बोला मुझे लगता है बेटे से ज्यादा आपको सुनील दत्त में इंटरेस्ट था. बट या वो पैशन था. मैं जब बड़ा हो रहा था तो मेरी दादी पुरानी फिल्मों के सारे गाने गा के सुना देती थी. शी वॉज नॉट दैट यूजली दादियाँ जो होती है ना वो थोड़ी महाभारत रामायण और ये सब बताती, वो नहीं था.
पर आपको फिल्में
उन्हें वो कहानियां नहीं आती थी बट उन्हें फिल्मों की कहानियां बहुत पता थी. फिर सो आई थिंक दैट गॉट इनटू माय फादर एज वेल. एंड माय फादर वाज द ओनली 2 things that you can actually talk to him is sports, 3 things: sports, politics and films. Films ka, especially music in the film, you can play any old film music. He will tell you who is the lyricist, who is the singer, who is the music director, which year it got released, and what is the backstory of the song as well, like some anecdotes as well. So that was the passion I was seeing. I was like when I was growing up. So, and I think at the age of 7, he first actually made me watch Mother India. And I was like, it was, I think it has little adult theme parts in the film.
Now that
I know. And I think वो मुझे काफी disturb भी कर गए थे क्योंकि आप समझ नहीं पाते हो कि वो exactly क्या हो रहा है, लेकिन at least you get the feeling that something wrong is happening. But that film changed something, like the scale of storytelling, the emotions, the presentation. And at that time I didn't even know क्या ऑस्कर्स होते हैं और मदर इंडिया ऑस्कर में नॉमिनेट हुई थी. आई डिडंट नो एनीथिंग.
अलग ही दुनिया.
या एंड आई वाज इन अ वेरी स्मॉल टाउन, just not even in Gwalior. It's like a tehsil, Dabra.
Right.
It's a tehsil nearby Gwalior, जहाँ पर मैंने ये फिल्म देखी थी. And that was the time that me and my twin brother, we started, because I never needed a friend. I had a friend. I bond with a friend.
That's very fortunate.
Yeah. So we keep like talking about कि अरे story ऐसी हो सकती है, एक फिल्म में ऐसा हो सकता है. Sometimes even used to enact those stories among ourselves.
Wow.
So we started even writing those ideas.
Yeah.
I still have that diary where we used to write those one-line ideas. I think we have wrote almost 100 ideas, but all of them are shitty, very bad. I mean, if I pick them up and I see them today, it's like, क्या सोच रहे थे?
Tell us one of the initial ideas one of those initial stories you wanted to tell.
Actually, I modified them, and one of them is actually now picked up by a production house also.
Imagine.
Yeah. I mean, lot of things have changed into it, but the story, the core idea remained the same, and it was based on a haunted house stories regarding a small town. Surprisingly, we lived in one. We lived in a haunted house.
Wow.
So that's how the story came up.
Yeah.
And eventually started realizing that the stories are around us. So that those dramatic moments actually first I started to believe that ke, oh my god, itna drama, itni fight, itna sab kuch kaise ho sakta hai. But eventually that changed something in my mindset, and I started to see that के सबके घर में ड्रामे होते हैं, सबकी फैमिली ड्रामेटिक होती है, किसी के ड्रामे पड़ोसी को सुनाई देते हैं, किसी को नहीं सुनाई देते, मेरी फैमिली के सुनाई देते हैं.
Sure. Accepted.
So I accepted my family in that way, but that also gives an edge that I started seeing them as a like कि है, these are there as a matter of fact कि ये ऐसे ही है, and that helps you seeing them more as not as your parents or relatives or anything, but more as a character, and you started seeing them as a part of somewhere your stories.
Yeah.
And or maybe now I think maybe it was a coping mechanism that you actually try to put them in the story and try to understand them better.
Escape from your reality through creating a narrative.
Maybe. Or maybe it's your way to understand them better.
Yeah.
Because if someone is acting very bad or behaving in an irrational way, mostly we just like blame them.
Yeah.
कि अरे तुम गलत कर रहे हो, तुमने गलत किया. But when we become a writer for that moment and that person become your character, now you want to know कि भैया backstory क्या है इसकी?
You empathize with your character.
Yeah, and that's the first rule that I tell all the new writers that I meet is that के first keep your judgments away from your writing desk.
Yeah.
That you cannot write a good character until unless you are a non-judgmental person, because then you will be writing a very one-shade characters.
Correct.
फिर वो तो मोगैम्बो है, वो बस खुश हुआ कर रहा है, and he's just a bad person who wants to do bad things.
Either you write very good people or very bad people, but there will not be layers in their personality.
They won't sound real. Like how can we all say कि हमने जिंदगी में कभी मोगैम्बो मिला था? नहीं ना, वो नहीं होते. It's a fictional character.
Right.
But well, that's a different sort of a film.
Sure.
Of course, for those sort of film, you can write something like that. But if you're writing real films, dramatic films, which has a connection, you have to think everyone around you.
Right.
With less judgment and more understanding.
Right.
So yeah, so that started. The story writing was a kira that has been started long back. In the 10th class, board exams चल रहे थे. 10th class, December के around कुछ time रहा होगा, and there was a ad on Times of India. It's a playwriting competition organized by National School of Drama in Delhi.
Nice.
So, but that was for school students under 12. I got excited कि चलो भेजते हैं, लेकिन उसमें 20 pages लिख के भेजने थे, and that was the peak time of preparing for your exams. तो मम्मी पापा से बिना बताए छुपके मैंने और गौरव ने एक स्टोरी लिखी, हैंड रिटन, उसमें तो मेल्स होते नहीं थे, पोस्ट करके भूल गए. जनवरी में आफ्टर ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 45 days एक तार आया, टेलीग्राम एट दैट टाइम कि प्लीज कॉल दिस एंड अर्जेंट, और सौरभ के लिए, क्योंकि सबमिशन मेरे नाम से हुआ था, जबकि लिखी गौरव ने भी थी. देन मुझे तो समझ नहीं आया. गौरव बोला नहीं मुझे लगता है ये उससे है. बोले क्या बात कर रहे हो ही नहीं सकता ये तो, ऐसे कैसे.
डिसबिलीफ.
हाँ, डिसबिलीफ. बट देन वी कॉल बैक एंड दैट वुमन टोल्ड कि out of all the plays we selected, yours is in the top 5.
Nice.
And the National School of Drama is actually performing that play. They have directed it and performing that play in Oberoi Hotel, Delhi. Please, and tonight. And you are in Gwalior, nearby Dabra. तो बोले कि and then let's go. मतलब बुला रहे हैं वो आपको, और stay, they will take care of it. मैंने बोला अब क्या करें?
कैसे? हाँ.
बताया मम्मी को, मुझे लगा डांट पड़ेगी, बट मम्मी बीइंग वेरी सपोर्टिव इन सच केसेस, शी इज लाइक नहीं चलेंगे. लेकिन टिकट नहीं है, मतलब चलेंगे अपन तो.
I see the drama.
Yeah. My mom is a super character. Like मेरी हर फिल्म में थोड़ा ले पाता हूँ मैं उनको, और वो उतने में ही मम्मी बन जाती है. डॉक्टर जी की मम्मी was part of me. Yeah.
Amazing character. Amazing.
So that happens. Delhi पहुंचे. That was the first time ever we were entering in a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And अपने कपड़े और अपना पसीना देख करके ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये तो बाहर से ही भगा देंगे, अंदर तो घुसने नहीं देंगे. फिर भी मेरे भाई और मम्मी बाहर ऑटो के पास खड़े हुए हैं, मैं अंदर जाकर के पूछ रहा हूँ, तो मुझे लगा था ये तो इट्स गोना बी वेरी एम्बैरेसिंग, व्हाई वी आर हियर एंड एवरीथिंग। सर कि वो एक कंपटीशन है, सौरभ एंड ऑल दैट, हाँ एवरीवन इज वेटिंग फॉर यू, चलो चलो चलो, माय फैमिली इज आल्सो देयर, वी विल टेक केयर ऑफ हिम, यू गो। So they took me ahead, they make me sit in front, and then the whole family was standing behind and they were performing the play. 5 प्लेस का परफॉर्मेंस हुआ, मैंने देखा जितना अच्छा मैंने लिखा नहीं था उससे ज्यादा अच्छा उन्होंने किया। दे आर नेशनल स्कूल ऑफ ड्रामा एंड मतलब उन्होंने ऑब्वियसली उन्होंने मॉडिफिकेशंस भी किए थे एंड इट गॉट फर्स्ट प्राइज एंड इट वाज द ओनली हिंदी प्ले।
What is it about? In short,
that it's the show called what it calls, I'll tell you later. The show is about it's a futuristic play where God hasn't come on earth for a very very long time.
Okay.
And then they decide कि अरे भाई बहुत दिन हो गए, जाकर के थोड़ा इंस्पेक्शन करके आते हैं। So चित्रगुप्त और नारद मुनि को नीचे भेजा जाता है इंस्पेक्शन के लिए।
Okay.
And when they actually reach to this family, this is a very modern Indian family now. And उनके वैल्यूज, उनके सिस्टम, उनका सब कुछ इसको समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है।
Right.
They're not able to see. A lot of things happens in the end. What happens is the lead head of the family जो है वो मर जाता है।
हाँ.
और सब सिर्फ मार हो रही होती है, बाकी बच्चे बीवी कोई नहीं रो रहे।
चिल है।
हाँ, चिल है। क्या मम्मी आप भी कितना किस जमाने की बात कर रही हो, क्यों इतना रो रही है, रुको। शी जस्ट पिक्स अप द फोन, शी कॉल्स अप अ बायो कंपनी एंड सेड दैट वो जो हमने क्लोन बनवाया था ना वो एक्टिवेट कर दीजिए।
कहाँ से आया था ये आइडिया?
दैट टाइम ना डॉली शीप आई थी,
राइट,
क्लोनिंग हुई थी। इट वाज अ वेरी न्यू थिंग and everyone was talking about it. That's going to change the world, how it's going to happen. So from that, this idea that once the cloning will be activated about humans also,
how life will change.
How life will change. People won't cry for each other.
Interesting. This is so important. I wanted to pause here because you did not let yourself be constrained by the realities of your life and you had the courage to imagine and think of something which does not exist.
Yeah.
As a writer, ये बहुत time लोगों के लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है to, because like you started saying that you find inspiration in people you know.
I think उल्टा है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है when you are actually in a very difficult environment, artistry comes from that.
तभी आती है, right?
I think बल्कि better आती है। That was the thing actually I was even trying to tell in the very start. Like experience तो करो थोड़ा अपने आसपास। अगर लाइफ ने आपको दिक्कतें नहीं दी तो थोड़ी ना खींच लो।
Right.
मतलब वो रॉकस्टार वाला नहीं बोल रहा है, but experience life, experience heartbreak, experience disappointment, failure and everything.
Right.
Sometimes you get that drama from your family, sometimes don't. Don't seek drama. That is also unhealthy. but don't run away from issues or dramas. I mean, if it is coming your way, accept it, face it. You will be a better or more learned person afterwards.
Which means if you are more aware or you observe more, if you are always your antenna is on, तो normal चीजों में भी आपको drama या कुछ ना कुछ interesting दिखी जाएगी.
That also sets up a very interesting psychological setting in your brain, you know, in a way where you are taking yourself out of the equation from the reality, and able to see everything as a creator.
Right. That's such empowering. I mean, you're like a god who's...
I mean, you're not God. You're not gonna change the reality, but you can create a parallel world where you can have the things a little bit according to yourself, you know.
I think you're being humble right now because reality, yes, you can't change as a writer, but you are creating a world, you are writing a world.
That is very empowering.
You are creating characters who don't, and you can just change whatever you want about them.
That is extremely empowering. I'll come to that when I'll talk about Dr. G.
Let's talk about Dr. G then.
Yeah, so Dr. G was one of the very early script that I have written.
15 you finished it, right?
Yeah. So I how it actually happened is because of my wife again.
She's a gynecologist.
She's a gynecologist. Dr. Sapna Khare. She's practicing in Mumbai only right now. But the time when we were dating, I was in film school. I came to India in 2011, mid-semester break हुआ था. When I came, I went to meet her. She was doing her post-graduation from Bokaro. Jharkhand.
Yeah.
So, and post-graduation gynecology. So I stayed with her for a few days and then I got to know कि उसके batch में, which is a post-graduation batch, there are total 8 students, 7 are girls, 1 is boy. and that guy's name was Dr. Ulhas Pote, and I was like very fascinated by him and I started talking to him like, how do you feel? You know, you're in a world where everyone is a female, your professors are female, your colleagues are female, your patients are female, you're one of the few males in this thing, and it is quite a reversal because usually when a woman go out in work, she usually feels like, oh, I'm in a man's world. So quite an insight over there. That idea stayed with me, and at that time only I told Sapna, you know, there is a story over here, and she said, हाँ ये तो हर चीज में story ही लगती है इसको. But then it stayed with me. I finished my film school, came back to Mumbai. I was actually staying with one of my friend who is an actor as well, and then
Karthik Aryani.
I was not about to take the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was also into struggle period, and at that time I threw a few ideas to him. I said, okay, there is one idea about this. There is one idea about this. There was one cricket story that I had. The other one was this, and there was one love story. So he said, no, this is the great idea. You should write this. So credit to him. I started writing that. I got a co-writer with me, Vishal Vagan, and we started writing it. We jammed. We actually first started talking all the gynecologists in my knowledge. So we talked to even Karthik's mother, Dr. Mala Tiwari. She is also, and she used to practice in Gwalior only.
Right.
So before she shifted to Mumbai. So auntie gave some really interesting insights. Actually, 2-3 cases that you see are what happened with auntie.
Oh, okay.
And rest of the cases happened with Sapna.
Right.
So their combined experience, and then we structured the whole film. But by the time it happened, Karthik also helped me to pitch to some people, but it didn't work out over there.
Right.
Eventually, it landed up with Jungly Pictures.
Right. Which is Times of India.
Times of India. Somin Mishra. Thanks to him, he read the script at the time when I had a finished script in hand and I was giving out to the directors. किसी का email ID मिल जाता था. Even if I know that कि ये पता नहीं कौन पढ़ लेगा, चोरी हो जाएगा, whatever it is, I used to just send. I used to take the chance. A lot of times my co-writer and some used to say that कि you should not send randomly, yeah, but I don't know, it's a great idea. People might take it. I used to think that कि इतना तो ना मैं सोच के आया था मुंबई कि 2-4 स्क्रिप्ट शायद चोरी होंगी तो मुझे बहुत फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. इफ दैट एक्चुअली हेल्प्स मी टू make some connections, I think it's a good investment.
Right.
So, but
it's a very smart move.
Yeah, thanks to Anurag Kashyap actually. I saw one interview of him where he mentioned that कि मैं तो पृथ्वी के बाहर बैठा रहता था और फ्री में लिख देता था लोगों की स्क्रिप्ट. और मुझे मैं फेमस ही इसलिए हो गया था कि अरे वो एक राइटर है जो फ्री में स्क्रिप्ट लिख देता है, क्रेडिट भी नहीं मांगता.
Right.
And eventually somebody actually gave me money and I said, अरे वाह पैसे मिलने लग गए अब. So that was the point. So it's even a worse starting.
Yeah.
When I get there, I know at least some people who are taking my script to particular production houses and everything. So yeah, so it finally reached to Jungly. Somin Mishra read it and he read the script of a writer who was no one.
Yeah.
But he liked the idea. He called me up. And 2016, we finally signed the script with Jungly. But it took a very long time for the film actually get to the screen.
Right.
And that long time was very disheartening. Period.
I'm sure.
So like when you sign your first film, then you started thinking, oh, finally the journey started, you know. And now within at max 2 years, you'll see the film on the screen. But it didn't happen that way. You know, there is a very interesting thing about Dr. J, if you have seen it. The character is not that likable in the start of the film.
That was my next topic to discuss. Yeah.
That the character was actually when we are writing, Anubhuti also co-written the film with me, and we were very aware about the fact that the character is not likable.
Yeah, you make people feel angry when you watch that character. And it's not easy. I understand this because it's easy to write a good character which is a likable character, but it is so difficult to write a difficult character.
बल्कि हमारी logline में था कि it's a doctor who is a borderline male chauvinist. And a borderline male chauvinist doctor आपका protagonist है. And then how we gonna root for him?
The arc itself is so steep.
Correct. So the other thing that we decided that कि whatever it is, people will still root for underdog. So we will make this borderline male chauvinist character an underdog in this female world.
Wow.
How he will survive, and that's how you root
That's
for
the
him. a little.
complexity of the story, because
Correct.
one person is never a black or a white. It's always grey.
Exactly. And then we also created even worse character.
I hated his brother. I was so angry at
That's actually Anubhuti's all credit to him, all credit to her. I fought quite a lot with that portrayal because I was like, my family is full of doctors.
Right.
Everyone is doctor, and that portrayal, he's also a doctor.
Yeah.
So मुझे लगा मुझे तो डंडे पड़ेंगे अगर ये character बाहर आया, and everyone will think that कि क्या portrayal किया है तुमने doctors का. But then Anubhuti said that you're taking it too personal right now. What you need to think that कि not, we're just one doctor, we are showing it like that.
We're not
stereotyping. See the world in which there are so many other doctors. You see the HOD, you see all other doctors.
Such brilliant characters that Shefali played.
Yeah. So that with that script writing, it was getting very difficult for actors to pick it up. Thanks to Ayushmann Khurrana, who always picks up such characters.
In fact, it looked like it's written for him.
But it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't. It reached out to him, and when it actually reached out and he said yes, it felt like, oh, he was the right choice.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I remember Ayushmann, the first time I met him on the sets, and he told me specifically, Saurabh, this is one of the best script I have read in the recent times.
Wow.
There are many reasons that how it actually shaped out, how it worked on the box office, and there are many factors come. But he said that the script as such,
the way it's written, the structure.
All also credit goes to Sumit, the main dialogue writer, who has a very great contribution in the script as well of the film. Sumit, Anubhuti, Vishal, me. Of course, the idea started from me, but that's how a film actually shapes up. The people comes in, they brings their own experiences, they fight with you, and eventually the product that comes out, everyone is very. Even Ayushmann added some really interesting things in this script, and I think he always do that. Like small nuances of the characters. Like he knows from the very start that the character is not that likable, so he added a certain cuteness in his whole physicality, in the demeanor, that even if he is acting like a MCP, he is still looking a little cutish, which actually make the people like him a little bit.
Psychologically, you are kind of rooting for him.
Correct. So that worked out, and finally, when I was on the set on the first day, and there are almost 200 people on the set. Ayushmann, Rakul, Shefali Shah, everyone is on the set, and I was just taking a moment and saying, Bokaro में बैठा था मैं. So you were sitting, you're sitting in a room, and you just sat down and you see a person and you got an idea. From that point to 200 people and 25 crore rupees put it on it. So you feel at that particular moment, the realization hit you, feel thoda God complex aa sakta hai yahan par. You have started this, and then so many people got into on board. Though the journey, I always say that the journey for a writer is the most difficult thing. So in that period, I started to, even after 2016 only, I started to realize that you have to move on. You have to also, एक film sign हो जाती है तो थोड़ा सा confidence आ जाता है कि you can write another story that can get picked up.
Which will see the light of the day.
Yes, I jumped on that car and I started just like throwing my stories everywhere. Somehow a little bit of ADHD helped me that I can actually write 3 stories at a time.
Wow.
So मुझे वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती है कि भाई आप एक टाइम पर एक ही कहानी लिख रहे हो, तो आप दूसरे के बारे में सोच नहीं सकते, बल्कि मुझे ब्लॉक होता है अगर मैं सिर्फ एक कहानी लिख रहा हूँ तो मैं उस कहानी से बोर हो जाता हूँ.
But that's interesting. Working on multiple things parallelly, yes. But उसके पहले जो आपने बोला, as a writer, you finish writing, you move on, and don't wait or expect it to see closure.
Correct.
Writing is such a passionate thing.
Yeah.
You're writing and you're developing your characters and world with so much of love, and then let go. How do you balance?
This is the toughest part actually. This is the toughest part because what happens when you sign a film, आपको थोड़े बहुत पैसे मिल जाते हैं साइनिंग अमाउंट, मे बी आपने एक दो और ट्रांचेस के पैसे मिल गए, बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट कि इट्स नॉट ओनली फॉर द मनी यू आर राइटिंग, राइट, यू आर राइटिंग दैट इट कैन कम आउट, पीपल वर्ल्ड विल सी द फिल्म, बट दैट इन्वॉल्व्स सो मेनी फैक्टर्स, एंड ओनली व्हेन यू एक्चुअली गेट इनटू फिल्म मेकिंग, ओनली व्हेन यू एक्चुअली सी द जर्नी ऑफ वन फिल्म लाइक डॉक्टर जी, देन यू रियलाइज कि ये आप तो सिर्फ एक बहुत छोटा सा फैक्टर हो इस पूरी चीज़ की, आपकी स्क्रिप्ट में भले चाहे फिल्म बन रही है वो भी एक बहुत छोटा सा फैक्टर है। दे आर सो मच, आई मीन हम कितना भी बोले कि ये आर्ट है, फिल्म मेकिंग कंप्लीटली सिर्फ आर्ट नहीं है।
करेक्ट।
क्योंकि अगर ये सिर्फ आर्ट होती तो इसमें करोड़ों का बिजनेस नहीं इन्वॉल्व हो रहा होता, इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट कि ये बिजनेस फॉर्म नहीं ले रहा होता। आई मीन इन द सेंस दैट कि ऐसा नहीं है, आप पेंटिंग बनाते हो, पेंटिंग में करोड़ों की बिकती है, एंड दैट्स आल्सो,
बट आई गेट योर सेंटिमेंट दैट आर्ट हैज मनी अटैच्ड टू इट,
करेक्ट, एंड द इन्वेस्टमेंट पर्पस फॉर एन आर्ट टू फिनिश, लाइक सो फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम सिटिंग इन माय पेंटिंग स्टूडियो एंड आई एम जस्ट पेंटिंग इट, द इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ इट इज नॉट दैट. It's color and the canvas and your time, right? But when you're
large
making,
scale.
yeah, when you're making a film, there are 200 plus crew, their time, their money, their food, their transportation, their so much goes
शादी
into it.
जैसा है ये पूरा।
हाँ ज़्यादा बल्कि कई शादियों जैसा तो so much goes into it, and in that process you realize that कि भाई सबके घर का खर्चा चल रहा है इसमें, and it's not only you, like I was able to interact the very basic people who actually make films, like spot boys, lightmans and everything, and then you realize they don't care about your script. They are
it's
happy
a job for them.
They are happy the film is getting made. They are putting all their best efforts out there. उनको उसको इतनी सी लाइट भी 10 बार भी हिलाने के लिए बोलोगे तो वो हिलाएगा और पूरे एफर्ट के साथ हिलाएगा, लेकिन क्यों? Because he's getting paid for it.
Right.
He's not making उसका क्रेडिट नहीं आने वाला है, उसका मतलब क्रेडिट आएगा, but that's not
attachment. It's about the attachment.
It's not like it is his creation. He's not going to feel like that. So for him, it's a job. And when that becomes a job, and for so many people, it is a business.
A source of employment. Source of livelihood.
So
then, with that reality, how do you sustain as a writer?
So that is where the other scripts come in the picture. When you actually, you can't dissociate yourself from a script that you have written. It's like just abandoning your baby. But then I always say that at one point of time, you need to realize that आप जैसे बच्चा बड़ा करते हो, आप बच्चा बड़ा हुआ, एडल्ट हुआ, अब आप उसे कॉलेज भेजते हो, राइट? अब कॉलेज में वो जो पढ़ाई कर रहा है, वो आगे क्या कर रहा है, all those things are actually will be taken care by dean,
right,
and professors.
You are the guardians.
You were the guardians. You have done your task, right? Now the task has been done, given to someone else. They will make him ready for the real world, and eventually even will try to get him a job, campus selection.
Correct.
And that is what we call release in the films. So that will happen, but you can't do much about it as a parent, as the original parent.
Right.
You only will well-wisher की तरह आप रह सकते हो उनके साथ, right? अब फॉल बैक भी होता है, फॉल बैक होता है कि भाई नहीं हुआ कुछ, ठीक है, तब आपको उसको कहीं और ले जाते हो, right? That also you can do. But till the time, if it is reached to the producer, your job is done. Till the time producer tells you to change something or do something and all that thing. So at that time, what to do? Empty nest syndrome, जैसे कहते हैं ना, बच्चे बाहर चले गए तो क्या करें, तो दूसरा बच्चा पाल लो ना. This time you need to start writing something else and focus yourself on developing that particular child to a stage where you can.
It sounds almost like a social work.
It sounds almost like a घर जिसमें बहुत बच्चे हैं और बस निकलते जा रहे हैं. नहीं, लेकिन अगर बहुत बच्चे नहीं होंगे तो आप डिप्रेशन में जाओगे, बल्कि एज अ राइटर यू विल फील लाइक अब क्या, एंड यू आर जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर दैट चाइल्ड टू एक्चुअली विन द ऑस्कर,
which is so much of pressure,
and so many other factors are
involved. It's not realistic also.
It's not realistic.
And also because you're a writer, you do want to have नए बच्चे in your language, because आपके दिमाग में ideas आएंगे ही. You want to develop new things, new words, new characters.
The only thing that happens over here, which is the very heartbreaking thing, is that कि आप जो लिख रहे हो उसका रिटर्न आप जो सोच रहे हो वो आपको या तो बहुत लेट मिलता है. नो, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट मनी ओवर हियर. लाइक टू सी योर स्क्रिप्ट ऑन द स्क्रीन, एंड कई बार नहीं मिलता है.
Right.
Even if you talk to any big writers, I mean, I'm the very new, if you talk to even the topmost writers, you will see and they will tell you कि अगर उनकी 10 फिल्में अब तक बनी हैं तो कम से कम 30-40 ऐसी होंगी जो उन्होंने लिखी हैं और कभी नहीं बनी
है. Imagine.
And that's what I tell anyone, any new writer that I meet, is that कि ये रेशियो मान के चलो. तुम 10 लिखोगे तब शायद एक बनेगी. और एक बनेगी इससे मेरा मतलब है फिल्म बनेगी. हो सकता है तुम 10 लिखोगे, कुछ प्रोड्यूसर्स पिक करके अटक जाएंगी, कुछ
तक हो जाएंगी.
हाँ, कुछ शूट भी हो जाएंगी पर वो रिलीज नहीं होंगी. सो ऑल दोज थिंग्स विल हैपन, बट व्हाट यू कैन विश इज जस्ट keep writing and throwing it to the future and see what future actually takes it ahead to.
You are one of the fortunate ones who, yes, it took time, yes, you did the hard work, but still fortunate because the hit ratio is
very fortunate.
It's
not only for that but also because of that I was allowed to do that struggle. When I came to Mumbai, I think I was very privileged. And I think it's very important to consider that. I belong to a family where my father was very supportive of my dream. My brothers were very supportive of my dream. मुझे रेंट की चिंता नहीं करनी पड़ती थी कि मैं जिस फ्लैट में रह रहा हूँ उसमें मुझे मेरा रेंट, मेरे पार्ट का रेंट, ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ शेयरिंग फ्लैट, बट कितना देना पड़ेगा. After that, after a few years, I got married. My wife shifted to Mumbai, and she was a gynaec. She started practicing over here. कभी मेरे साइड से तो कभी पैसा आ रहा है, कभी नहीं आ रहा है. But she has a constant earning of money, and I never have to worry about paying bills or anything. She always took care of it. So I have to give the credit to my family that I never have to think that कि भाई बहुत खर्चा हो रहा है, survive नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, I have to go back. Yes, there comes a time when family people also started to think कि इतना ज़्यादा time लग रहा है and it is taking toll on your mental health, you should leave it. हम कुछ ना कुछ कर लेंगे घर पे, come back. But मेरे दिमाग में वो कभी option था ही नहीं. मैंने बोला नहीं, ये भाई यही करना है और कुछ मैं कर ही नहीं सकता, आता ही नहीं है मुझको.
Right.
But I realized because I have seen people who come to this city and they have a time period given to them.
Yeah.
1 साल, 1.5 साल, 2 साल, and they have to go back. And I have seen them going back. And I know that they are talented. And that strikes to me to the fact that कि कितने सपने तो मर ही जाते हैं. And the problem is that in this city, because it's so much chaos and there is no one way to enter.
How do you navigate?
How you navigate 1-1.5 साल तो बस ये जानने समझने में निकल जाता है. You don't. I mean, मैं बोलता हूँ कि लास्ट 10 साल में 8 साल तो मैंने सिर्फ नेटवर्किंग में बिताया है, where I just met people and met people and met people and just talked to them. That's again a privilege.
Yeah.
Okay, I had that much of time where I could do that. But that actually gives me the motive to set up some ways, at least for the writers.
So that's why you started Scriptors.
Yes.
Tell us about Scriptors.
So the Dr. G story that I told you is like 2016, and when you started feeling, oh wow, you know, and I wanted to jump on that, and I said that, okay, chalo likhte hain. By that time, I got a good set of co-writers, and I started writing a lot with them. But at the same time, I started to feel that कि देख मुझे 6 साल हो गए हैं, 7 साल हो गए हैं by that time, and I was able to survive. But these other co-writers that have come, and there are other people who I know come, they have to rush back.
Yeah.
And then their career or their dream will be over. But then I think ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है ना कि वो जहाँ भी है वहाँ से लिखे. Writing is not something, and writing is, बल्कि मुझे लगता है मुंबई के बबल से बाहर जाके जब आप लिखते हो तो ज़्यादा ओरिजिनल लिखते हो, वरना ओवर हियर आप सिर्फ बड़े बड़े इंटरनेशनल लोगों के इंटरनेशनल फिल्म्स एंड ऑल दोस यू टॉक अ लॉट अबाउट देम, not knowing that कि they were thinking very original.
Correct.
Right. They were not talking only getting inspiration from other films.
Yeah.
So वो getting inspiration from life चीज़ तब होती है जब आप इस बबल से बाहर जाते हो. So I wanted to tap on those story. I also wanted to become that one motive, one point which I didn't get in the city when I entered. So एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली थी मेरे टीचर ने. उन्होंने बोला था कि there are two types of success. One is when you enter in a profession and you reaches on the top. And you exactly go the way that was given and you reaches on the top.
Yeah.
That's a success. But it's a replaceable success.
Sure.
It's a success that will be forgotten because anyone else will follow the path and will reach there. What is the true success is that ki you find out a separate path. And what you have disrupted or changed in the world that you have entering.
Yeah.
अगर वो हो सकता है आप टॉप पे ना पहुंचो, but at least if you have devised something or find a new path into it, that is also a very big success. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, or whatever the future holds on to it, but the idea was that intent is there.
Yeah.
So the idea was that कि अगर कोई अपने शहर में बैठा हुआ है, अगर कोई मुंबई नहीं आ सकता है, इस महंगे शहर में फ्लैट लेकर के रह नहीं सकता है,
एज अ फुल टाइम राइटर,
करेक्ट, और वो अपने शहर में बैंक में काम कर रहा है, सरकारी ऑफिस में है या इंजीनियर है, लेकिन राइटिंग का पैशन है, स्टोरी है, समझ है, तो वो लिखे, हमें भेजे, and then there are group of writers only who understand writing and who are doing this whole struggle any which ways. They will attach those stories with them and then take it ahead. In this way, what we are achieving is that we are building a strong sense of writers community, and not only limited to Mumbai.
Yeah.
Believe me, today in this organization, a little bit of what we have developed so far, we have writers from Australia, New Zealand, Dubai, US, all the states of India almost.
Interesting.
So we are excited about the fact that we have trying to break that mold where you need to say that oh आपको मुंबई आना पड़ेगा आगे का struggle.
And you are bringing diverse rooted stories to Mumbai, which can actually see light of the day.
Correct. Also the fact that when today आज की डेट में मैंने एक स्क्रिप्ट लिख ली है, लोग जानते हैं कि सौरभ लिख सकता है because of the past, right?
Yeah.
So अब मैं जब स्क्रिप्ट देता हूँ, किसी को स्टोरी देता हूँ, तो they read it faster. अब यही एक नया राइटर जब स्टोरी देता है, इवन तो उसने बेटर लिखा है मुझसे,
राइट,
एंड उसका आइडिया भी बेटर है मुझसे,
बट ही इज
नो वन, तो उसकी स्क्रिप्ट नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, राइट? मेरी स्क्रिप्ट शायद उससे थोड़ा एक स्टेप कम ही होगी, लेकिन मेरा पढ़ने को तैयार है बिकॉज ऑफ द पास्ट. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, दिस इज नॉट ओनली द पीपल हु आर रीडिंग, बट ऑल्सो द सिस्टम इज लाइक दैट कि जो भी एजेंसीज हैं आउट देयर, टैलेंट एजेंसीज, मैंने उनको खूब कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की द टाइम व्हेन आई वाज स्ट्रगलिंग, but they were not ready to read who you are.
Yeah.
But the time when Dr. Ji got released, all these same agencies wanted we want to represent you, we want to take your stories to this and that, and I said that, but then how come you are a talent agency? I did my struggle. You become a talent agency when you find the talent. Well, where are you finding the talent? How are you putting a faith on a new talent जिसको किसी ने नहीं tap on किया है? Right? Where is that?
That's brilliant, Ani. That's what you're doing with the writers. You're giving hope to people. Tell us what type stories I'm sure would be interesting.
Right.
I mean, I can see that they're coming from the roots. What kind of writers are you getting? Are these people who are very serious writers? Do they have any technical knowledge? They have life stories.
That's the thing. They are very raw. And that is a good thing and also a bad thing.
Sure.
Good thing is that because their story has the originality that somewhere we all need right now at this point of time.
Yeah.
What they don't have is that they don't know how to structure their story or present their story to the production houses.
Sure.
They don't know how to make it more market palatable. They don't know how to sometimes take it to the right place. Like
Right.
अभी उनको पता चला एक ये contact है वहीं चले गए, and they're not knowing that the story has a potential and that the other production house can take it, and that is a better production house.
More suited.
Yeah. So and that knowledge is not like that anyone is expert on it. It just comes with an experience.
But it also touches upon what we were discussing earlier. There are so many stories at concept level which are not
Correct.
thought through.
Correct.
And
so वो ही आता है हमारे पास maximum. So what happens is that in Scriptors what we did is like how it functions is very amazing because no one is getting paid for it.
I was going to ask you that. You know,
Yeah,
what is
no, because it's
all
not
passion.
It's all passion. The currency is passion. So because it's not a company where we have taken the money from the market and running the company. It's a very pro bono company, though it is registered and everything. But how we function is that if a writer comes with a story, it goes to a feedback team. Now, what is the feedback team? They are writers only, who also submit their stories, and the other writers read it. So, like for example, if I want my story to be pitched, even I don't pitch my stories directly. First I give it to the feedback team, and the feedback team, at least 3 people will read it, and they will give off a 2-3 pager analysis each one of them. So. And because that's also very disheartening part. When I used to send my scripts to the people, I used to get that it's nice, but it doesn't fit.
Yeah, people don't give feedback.
Exactly.
Give us the reasons.
If the people in the production don't tell why it is not working, how are we going to improve it?
Yeah.
But they have their own set of reasons to that, and I understand that because जब उन्होंने बोला है, people get too offended.
Correct.
So. But over here, we are actually also generating a system where people started accepting the feedback.
Right.
They actually started opening up about it.
Nice.
Because right now, the feedback is not coming from the producer. It is coming from one of your peer.
Fellow writer.
तो जिसका कोई stake involved नहीं है उसमें, right? So if the fellow writer is telling you जिसका stake involved नहीं है, you will say that कि अरे ये क्यों बुराई करेगा मेरी? या क्यों करेगा? If he is trying to tell you something, it might help you. So then that feedback actually goes back to the writer. Writer make changes. Eventually, sometimes it happens that the writer submits the same script for 4-5 times. But every time, a new writer will read it.
Okay.
Or maybe one old writer and one new writer will read it. And that's the system we have created, and that's how the rewriting process that we do at our end before even we pitch it to the producers.
It's like a screenwriting lab actually.
It is a constant screenwriting lab. हम हमेशा ये सोचते हैं कि जो better चीज है, उसी से आप सीख सकते हो. I completely believe opposite. I think आप बुरी चीज से ज़्यादा सीखते हो.
Like
for example, every time when we get all these scripts, we read it, like 2-3 people read it, and then we go back. Every month we have a feedback team meeting.
Okay.
And in that meeting, whatever the people have read so far, they discuss with each other.
Okay.
What they like, what they don't like. And every time when someone mentions, oh, I don't like when the character was doing this, it was not justified. The inconsistency of the character is what bothering. And I realized, oh, I didn't check that inconsistency in my script. I have to go back and actually check that in my script. And because you were so busy in plotting the whole story, you didn't figure that out. That might be the issue why it is not working.
What makes a good writer? Apart from the life experiences, apart from the basic technical understanding, what makes a good writer?
What makes a good writer?
Yeah.
Who is open to rewrite.
Such an important part. Yeah. Tell us more.
And believe me, only 30% of the writers currently are, senior writers are all, but the new set of writers that are coming, only 30% of them are ready to do that. Because again,
that is dangerous.
That is dangerous also, but I think maybe it's a little generational issue as well that, they said, I will do the changes while I'll get paid. But why will you get paid for this script? It needs changes first, then you will get paid for it. So the problem is that I understand that if you're changing a script for someone's feedback, you need to, you're modifying your idea for them, and you should get paid. But in the initial fight, in the initial
to prove its metal and worth.
Yes. And अभी currently अगर मुझे भी नया idea pitch करना होता है जो मेरा idea है, ठीक है, at this point of time I don't need to write the whole script because people know that कि अगर idea होगा तो सौरभ script
Develop
तो
हो
लिख
जाएगा.
देगा, right? But even I need to crack a good 10 to 15 pager of the story which has beginning, middle and end so that they sign me. They're not gonna sign me
Just
on
for an
verbal,
idea.
हाँ, बोल दिया. That is gonna happen with a very, very big director and also with the directors. With the writers, they have to write.
Of course.
So to me, what makes a good writer is who writes and rewrites.
What is your voice of artist?
As an artist, what is my voice?
Yeah.
Connection, I would say. Like connection to yourself and the connection to other people and your characters.
Beautifully summarized.
So if you are able to connect to yourself, your character will be more deeper. If you're able to connect to the world, you will get stories.
Nice.
Simple. On a more deeper level, if you talk about as a writer, you are writing stories to connect to people. So end of the day, your motive is also that.
Interesting.
Whether your story is getting connected to the audience or not, whether I was able to evoke an emotion inside a person or not. अगर emotion evoke नहीं हुआ तो आपका connection fail है. You need to go more deeper. You need to find something different. So end of the day, and I think it actually applies for all the art forms. Like even if a painting, if you're just looking at even if a modern art, you're looking at a modern art, do you finding some connection or reflection of yourself into it or not?
Yeah.
So I think art is a more profound way of connection, I think.
That is such a beautiful summary of this conversation and what art is and what artists are. Saurabh, any last thoughts before we wrap this conversation?
No, my last thought is you guys are doing great job.
Thank you.
And I think you guys are actually working on that only, building a connection among the artists and creating that community. Just one last thought is that only where we somehow have been designed in this society in a way where we have been pitched against each other.
Yeah.
In a way that it's a competition.
Competition over collaboration.
Yeah, and I think that कि अरे उसकी फिल्म निकल गई या उसके मार्क्स ज़्यादा आ गए या उसके साथ अच्छा हुआ becomes an issue to you.
Right.
Whereas it should be a celebration to you.
Right.
अरे उसके साथ हुआ है मेरे साथ भी अच्छा होगा.
Yeah.
But that sense has been loose. I mean, I realize that कि biologically it's a race. Everything is a competition.
Yeah.
But why we need to make it more race? Why we need to make it even more competitive?
Yeah.
It's enough competitive any which ways.
Yeah.
So if we kill the competition and bring the more collaboration, that exactly what you're doing at the Voice of Artists, that would be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sharing all your thoughts. And with this hope that we keep building more collaborations and networks.
Yes.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cut.